The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
We're very lucky to have the coach of the Taranaki Bulls on the podcast later on, Barnsey.
Yep.
Neil Barnes will be joining us, fresh off winning the Shield. And then their flight got cancelled. So I want to know how exactly their celebrations panned out after winning the Shield and then getting stuck in the airports. I want to get to the bottom of that. But before we do, the All Blacks team was named yesterday by Razor at 2 p.m.
Yep.
I've got to be honest, no surprises.
No, that's full missionary position from Razor. The two controversial, I don't say controversial, the ones that were discussed the most was the TJ Perenara, is he the future, should you pick him, and of course Sam Cane, the Cleveland Steamer. And he's picked both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone full missionary, and I think as a result of he wants results from this tour.
Yeah.
He needs results, and I think that reflects that in the squad that's going. And there is absolutely no one that's a surprise in there at all. Ruben Love back in the squad. That's about it.
It's about as surprising as you would, when you look through the team. There's no one really. Like you said, you were saying TJ should never play in the black jersey again yesterday. You were saying tear his contract up, but you were saying he probably never should have in the first place. But
Okay, was I? Did I? Okay.
But, I just think, like we were saying yesterday, he's got to win games. And so he needs to take the squad that he thinks is going to win him the most games. I feel like the forward pack is sort of solidifying. It looks about what it's going to be going forward, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got Patrick Tuipulotu as, the experienced campaigner in there because you've got Tupuvai and Sam Darry as the locks. The
dog
props,
roll, obviously.
Yeah, dog roll. You got the props. That's the same props kind of squad we've had all season.
I think that's us going into the World Cup, to be honest. De Groot, Lomax, Fletcher Newell, Tosi, Ofatonga Fasi, Tamaiti Williams.
Yeah. I think the locks as well. I mean, if Patrick Tuipulotu can stay in one piece for a couple more years. And even the loose forwards, apart from Sam Cane, you got Wallace Satiti, Side Titty, Savia, Papali'i, Jacobson, Finau, Cane, Blackadder.
Yeah.
It's all pretty standard.
And Wallace Satiti, I mean, I saw that there was a quote from Sam Cane saying that this is the most meteoric rise he's seen because just a year ago he couldn't get a start for counties.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden he looks to have sewn up the 6th jersey. And when we were in Amsterdam, we got punished by these 3 Welsh dudes who came over. They heard that we were Kiwis and all they wanted to talk to us about was Wallace Satiti.
Yeah.
One of them was, to be fair, this guy was buckled.
Yeah, oh.
And he was, when you're so drunk that you just get stuck on one thing. No, but Wallace Satiti's one of the best players.
I've ever seen.
Yeah. And so he's making a name for himself around the world. But yeah, like I said, nothing really to pick over. I mean, Billy Proctor probably...
I mean, Billy Proctor and Ruben Love are about the only ones but they've always been in the wider squad the whole time. So... No biggie. As
has Sam Darry. I'm just trying to think if there are any injuries, people that have been admitted that we...
I'd say that Satutu, and I agree with... I don't often agree with Akira Ioane, but he's come out and said that go overseas, mate, make some money.
Yeah.
And I tend to agree. He's on the outer. If he's not picked for this, then I don't think Robinson's going to pick him. So go to France, mate. Make your millions. You've got an All Black... You've got All Black caps under your belt. You've got another 0 on your value.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
No, 100%. I agree as well. And I've heard people say this morning, may or may not have been Joe Jury, that it's basically just dropping lip. If you don't get picked and so you go, bugger it, I'm going overseas. Well, yes, but also the only leverage that New Zealand rugby has over these players is the black jersey.
Yeah.
And so if they're saying we're not going to give you the black jersey, well, what's the leverage there? The negotiation's over.
And you've only got a very limited window when you're at the peak of your powers playing rugby.
Yeah.
It's about 4 or 5 years, really.
Yeah.
Particularly in the forwards and loose forwards. So you've got to go make your crust somewhere, and if it means overseas, and I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him if he goes over and plays in Toulon or Toulouse or whatever in France and does well for himself for the next 4 or 5 years, come back, plays a couple of seasons in Japan, and then plays for counties.
And makes $1 bajillion.
Yeah, go for it.
I agree. I mean, it'll probably be disappointing to him, but, this isn't the first time a player's just been stuck behind, some really good players like Wallace Satiti's come through now. He's behind Artie, who, some would say is the best, if not one of the best players in the world. How many flankers had to go overseas because of Richie McCaw?
Yeah.
How many first fives had to go overseas because of Dan Carter? You know what I mean? This happens in professional rugby. It is a little bit unfortunate, and he's not far off, you know.
Would have been weird for him getting blindsided, though. Like, no pun intended.
I couldn't, yeah.
But Satiti literally has come out of nowhere. He's like, yep, I'm sweat. And then, holy shit, who's this guy?
Hoskins Satutu, you know, won Super Rugby, had himself a blinder, and then all of a sudden wasn't picked. And to be honest, like, it could have been a different coach, and he could be in there. He could be the starting number 8. You know, it's not due to a lack of effort, but yeah, I agree. Go and make your money.
Yeah,
go and make your millions. I wouldn't be shocked if he stuck around for another year and was like, let's see how we go. You know, I reckon I can make it. But would you wait around for a whole World Cup cycle? Nah. No,
I wouldn't. I think when your value's when you're at the peak of your value, do it.
Yeah, I agree. The Australians have named their rugby league team as well, straight off the back of the grand final. Mitch Barnett was named in the Australian team as well.
Dear friend of the show.
Dear friend of the show. He is one of the many debutants. It's been a bit of an overhauled squad. So Nathan Cleary's not in there because he's apparently going to need surgery.
I was wondering that because I looked at the squad. I was like, where's Nathan Cleary? Who's better than him?
Yeah, exactly. Australian skipper, the incumbent skipper, James Tedesco, has been outright dropped. So Dylan Edwards is going to be the starting fullback, who's the Panthers fullback. Yep. And they've also dropped both State of Origin captains, Jake Trebojevic and Daly Cherry Evans. Neither of them have made the team. And it's interesting because Daly Cherry Evans has been the skipper of Australia as well. And for the longest time, he has been, like, basically, if he's fit, you know, you got to have him in there. So he's gone as well. So it's a bit of a shake-up for Australian Rugby League.
Is this the result of their pants-down thrashing last year at the hands of the Kiwis?
It could well be, yeah. Mel Meninga's now in charge of the whole outfit. Maybe he's just like, nah, I'm going to pick the dudes I want.
Yeah.
It may be the end of it for poor Daly Cherry Evans, about 36 years old.
He ages very well. It's like Dan Carter.
Yeah.
Dan Carter doesn't seem to age.
It's those dudes who have like an incredible kicking game. So it's not like he has to try and step dudes all the time, you know. All he does is kick a couple of 40-20s in a season, you know, kick at 90% conversion rate, and he's away laughing. And just finally, before we do get to Neil Barnes, our dear friend Ellie Williams and the Auckland FC conglomerate are putting together a bid to revamp Western Springs. And what they want to do is turn it into the hub of football in Auckland. So they would have to bin off the motor games ring there.
That's the clincher, though.
Well, maybe you could see. There's a few other places that they're proposing to send that out. So like Waikaraka Speedway and there's a couple of other different parts there. It would mean the revamp there would mean that you can't use it for cricket. Not that they have for ages, but it would turn it into like because they want it to be the home of football in New Zealand.
It also is the home of the Ponsonby Rugby Club.
Yes, yeah. So they were proposing to move them out to Cox's Bay, which was halfway between my house and the viaduct when we got let out of that lockdown. Remember the 127-day lockdown? We got let out of that. I blacked out and passed out at Cox's Bay.
Oh.
So that's where that is.
Yep. Quite low-lying, Cox's Bay.
Yeah, it is.
Very polluted little bay there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cox's Bay is big enough to house Ponsonby Rugby. It's a big rugby club.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know if that's big enough. Anyway.
Maybe they should put it in Ponsonby.
Vic Park.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly where they should put it. But anyway, the long and short of all of this is it could change the whole stadium debate because if they're putting a football stadium in there, the part of the proposition is that it would house some of the rugby games as well. You know, it's the same size. Could this be the answer to our debate?
I love it how it's Ali Williams. Ali Williams 5 years ago, we would be like, shut up, Ali Williams. But he's married to a billionaire.
Yes.
And he's gone into business in this Auckland FC with a billionaire.
With another billionaire.
Yeah. So that's the only people that are actually going to make shit happen.
Yeah.
Because we can shout to the clouds as long as the day is long about Vic Park into a test cricket ground.
Yeah.
But we're never going to do it because we've got no cash behind us
I'm
or
broke.
any clout.
As a person.
As a person. We've got nothing.
I'm broke.
We've got nothing.
I don't know. As an organisation, the ACC is floundering financially.
I like his thinking, Ali Williams. But he's just going to come up against so much bureaucratic bullshit with the council that it'll get the life sucked out of it. And like most good ideas, it'll get to a point where he'll go, oh, fuck this.
I can't be
fucking bothered.
This is the thing that I notice every time I go overseas, is how many rules we have here in New Zealand. For such laid-back people, we love a rule.
Because we listen to the minority.
Yeah.
We need to get, I've talked about this with Jeremy, we need to get to a population of about 10 million before we can tell the minority to shut the fuck up around these rules and about what we can and can't do or can't say. And they just get too much share of voice.
Yeah, it's because the rest of us don't give a shit. They're like, we need someone to come up with the rules. Everyone's like, someone else will do it. I can't really be asked. I'm going down the beach if you don't mind. Yeah. And then the guys who loved it, I fucking love rules. Oh, yeah, I want to do it. And then we just tolerate it. We're like, oh, yeah.
What's the latest one you told me this morning?
So I told you this morning, New World's binning 500ml craft beer cans. They're going to sell through their stock and then stop selling them. The problematic drinkers in our communities are not drinking 500ml crafties.
Because they are about $17.
That's right.
For that one can.
That's right. That is not how you get yourself tragically wasted.
What kind of brainstorm were they in when they said, what's the problem here? Oh, it's the big cans. It's like, no, I can buy 24 cans of something.
Yes. And if I'm looking to get wasted, that's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But because the 500ml can is just the perfect midweeker.
Yeah.
If you're on your way home, you can buy a loose 500ml crafty. You only have to have one of them.
Yep.
You know, you're not getting, it'll just get you on the level on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, nice, healthy, kind of strong, 6.7% hazy. Fits perfectly into a pint glass.
That's right. You're not sitting around drinking 6 of them.
Yeah, because if you crack two small cans, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, well, this was my idea for and I've pitched this to several breweries, and it was a 500ml can, it's about 7%. It was called Home Wrecker.
Yeah, I think the name was the one, the Achilles heel.
Yeah, it was. But it was like, I figured, you know, and I'm not a father, but I've been around a lot of fathers. In fact, I have one. And, you know, if you're a father, you can't come home and be seen to crush 6 beers on a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can have one. And
yeah, that's true, because the repetitive sound of cans opening.
Yes, and then the cans on the windowsill.
Yeah, that triggers a lot of partners. Like, yes, I mean, in the weekend, for example, we had quite a big Friday night, and then on Saturday morning, I went, the head snapped around, but I was actually drinking a Vista. I was like, snapped around, I was like, it's Vista. But the fact that triggered a reaction is saying something. So you're right, just one is better than...
That's right.
Like I heard on the plane when flying over with you and Joe Jury behind me.
We found that you could play blackjack on the back of the screens against each other.
Yes.
And then there were all these other people coming in, and we were like, okay, our mission is to run the table against the rest of the cabin that we're in.
Yeah.
So we're playing against like 4 or 5 other people. Then all of a sudden a new person would come in. And we got to the point where we'd wiped everyone out. We were sitting there so stoked with ourselves, cheersing. And then we found out they were actually computer players. We weren't playing against real people.
We were like, fuck you, 67C.
Yeah, we were just playing against each other. We thought we'd clean the whole A380 out of poker players. But no, it was just me and Joe playing against the computer for about 3 hours. Crushing beers. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got Barnsey from the Taranaki Bulls. All right, well, over the weekend, they took the Shield off Tasman. They now get to lock it away for the rest of the summer, but they still have a job to do with the quarterfinals coming up this weekend. And joining us is the coach of the Taranaki Bulls, Barnsey, Neil Barnes. Good morning, mate. How are spirits around the camp this morning?
I've only seen them for a little bit. They've just been over to gym, but it was a very broken day yesterday. Obviously, we celebrated pretty hard on Sunday night, and our travel plans got thrown into bloody disarray because we got halfway home to Wellington. Our flight to New Plymouth got cancelled, so stuck in Wellington, 3 different flights to Auckland, back to New Plymouth. The boys didn't get back till about 4 o'clock yesterday, but mate, they're tired, they're a bit hungover, so they should be. But now it's about getting back up. We've got a quarterfinal that we're pretty serious about.
Yeah, it must be quite difficult, Neil, because obviously you've got the Shield for the summer. You've locked it away in the cabinet for the summer, and now you've got to refocus and move into the knockout stages of the NPC. How are you gonna focus the fellas?
Yeah, I'm one of those coaches that shoots from the hip a little bit. I'll feel the room, but for me, the hardest part is to treat the Shield with the respect it deserves with the community as well. Obviously, you know, they want to celebrate it as well. And it'd be nice to get out there amongst the schools and that with the Shield at the moment. But for me, in our room today, we've got to, you know, celebrate what we did because it was a pretty good effort, and then put it to bed and let other people deal with that and get back into what we've set our sights on in the quarterfinal side of things. And we know we've got Waikato, which are like our neighbours, and they're a bloody awesome crew, and they rested a fair number of their players on the weekend and got a few All Blacks coming in, so they're going to be up for it. So it's another mighty challenge.
Yeah, for sure. Just going back to the Shield win, and so you guys flew from Tasman to Wellington. Then what happened? The flight got cancelled from Wellington.
Well, the unfortunate thing is, like, we couldn't even bloody have a beer with the Tasman boys after. We had to get to an airport straight away, and because we were supposed to be flying straight back, but then we got stuck in Nelson Airport for 2.5 hours. I got no idea why, but obviously the boys went upstairs into the Koru lounge and emptied their fridges for them. Bless their hearts. That alcohol was getting old.
Not anymore.
Yeah, they were in great space by the time we got to Wellington, so I take my hat off to our manager. He had a hell of a battle keeping them together. But yeah, then we were probably stuck there for another 2.5 hours trying to sort out where the hell we were going to sleep for the night and getting all our team gear there. So it hasn't been beer and skittles for the management side of it, but the players have had a ball.
And so did you just basically travel throughout the night to get back the next morning?
Well, we travelled to Wellington on the night of the game, and then had to get accommodation in Wellington for the night, and then we had to be flown to Auckland back to New Plymouth, which involved 3 different flights, and just guys hanging around airports for a whole day. Yeah. So it takes the gloss off things, but man, it's just one of those things you need to get through it. Like I said before, like the job now is to find out what we can learn from that game down there, because it was a pretty special day, because Logwood deserves that. And just refocus. Was there a bit of a reception at the airport when you finally made it back to the Naki? Yeah, there was actually. I'm so proud of our people. They're so supportive. The airport was full when they got back. And the thing is, the public had no idea, because nor did we, what time we were going to get back. I had to be on an earlier flight on my own and got back, and there were kids and that waiting at the airport then in the first part of the day, and I felt so bad because I walked in the door and they're like, "Where's the players?" You got some 90-year-old dinosaur walking in the room. They don't really want to see me.
What is the state of the Shield at the moment? I trust it's all in one piece. No, absolutely, mate. JJ, our young loose head prop, got the role of looking after it, and he did a grand job. The boys obviously enjoyed the night, but, we got a lot of respect for that trophy, so don't worry about that. You can go anywhere.
Oh, nice. And it's a home quarter this weekend against the Waikato boys, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And a lot of them are teammates of our guys in Super Rugby as well, so we all know each other. There's a bit of banter involved, but, this is serious shit now. We're actually playing for an opportunity to be in the semi and then the opportunity to be in the final, and that's pretty special. So, exciting times. I'm wrapped the way the competition's panning out. Frickin' hell, there's 8 teams there, and I dare anyone to tell me who's going to win any of the quarterfinal games.
Speaking of which, is this one of the tightest NPC competitions you've seen in a while? Because all the games I've watched have been absolutely cracking.
Yeah, that too. There's 2 things in it. You can't tell before a game who's going to win. Anybody can beat anybody, but the quality of the rugby has been outstanding. There's a real attacking mindset in NPC at the moment. Which I'm thoroughly enjoying. And so it's entertaining. The fact that you don't know who's going to win makes it exciting. I just want the competition respected for what it is and given the window it needs to have, because I felt so bad for Tasman that they had to play 2 Shield games in a storm week leading into the quarterfinals. And why? So we can have a game against Japan or have a All Black B team go and play a game? Yeah. I mean, get real. Yeah, it is. I wouldn't say New Zealand rugby treated as an afterthought, but you're right. This should be our premier provincial competition, and and leave the franchise stuff to the Super Rugby. But I definitely feel like this year the regions have been more in behind their teams, because I think as New Zealanders we feel more affinity to our NPC team than we do to our Super Rugby team. I don't really know exactly why, but are you expecting a sellout this weekend at Yarra Stadium? I'll be very surprised if the place ain't full. Yeah, it's just one of those ones that we only pick players from our club competition, and yes, I will go outside the province if we're seriously short somewhere, but very, very reluctant to do so. So I just understand what NPC is there for. You're there to develop players for the professional game and to provide an opportunity for them to play at a higher level. So I'm wanting to go to the next cab off the rank, regardless who that person is, because I know I've done a lot of work with them during the club season and trust them. Yeah. So you can't do that if you've got no coaches around during the club season, because nowadays unions can't afford to have a coach around, but I'm lucky to be in a union that supports that.
Nice. Neil Barnes, I know you've got the team gathered there. You're just going to go through a bit of a review of the weekend, but we've got a bit of an admission to make. In the ACC studios here, we have a piece of your property. We have your Chiefs rugby social blazer in our studio with your name emblazoned on the inside.
Really?
Yeah, we do. I'll get it out here.
The Chiefs Social Committee, it's the black, red and gold.
Yeah, it's the kind of black, red and gold striped blazer with the gold buttons, and on the inside it has Neil Barnes. And we were like, how did we get this piece of property? And I still actually don't know.
Have you been looking for it, Neil? Did they tell you they were giving it to us?
They were that happy to get rid of me. They've just given all my property away to other people.
I think you can blame it on Kent Curry, actually. I think he was the one that may have gifted it to us. But I wear it for every Chiefs game I commentate, actually, and it really pisses off any other team we play with that blazer.
Nice, boys.
Hey, Neil, thanks for joining us. And for those of you who want to see Barnsey at his best, I know you've talked about it before, that on Netflix there's the Six Nations Full Contact from last year. I know.
Yeah.
You obviously copped a bit of shit for that because they've caught you on the hot mic several times coaching Italy. And I love it. I think it's great. It's a real breath of fresh air when you've got a Kiwi, because your distinct accent sticks out like dog's balls. I was like, fuck, it's a Kiwi. Oh, it's fucking Barnsey. It's fucking Barnsey getting stuck into the Italians. Fuck, it's great. It's great stuff. So congratulations on that. I know you're quite world famous there for a while. Probably still are.
I'm just a farmer, boys. Just like my code.
Just one last question before we let you go. Obviously, don't want to look too far down the track, but you have got the Shield sewn up. Last year, South Canterbury won Heartland, and they weren't able to get up to Hawke's Bay to challenge for the Shield. If they're in a similar situation at the end of this year, do you reckon you'll maybe meet them halfway so that the Heartland can challenge for the Shield?
Mate, if they're willing to fill my fridge, anything's possible.
We can help you with that.
That's where we can help, Barnsey. We can help with that.
Export sponsor that. I think between the three of us, we can probably figure something out.
Sweet.
Thank you very
much. Keep Curry out of that fridge.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Go well this weekend against Waikato, and I'm sure all the listeners here will be watching along this weekend. So, yeah, go well.
Cheers, boys.
It was always good to have the reigning, defending Shield holder on. Yeah. Barnsey's such a great New Zealander.
Oh, God, he's a great New Zealander. Just so honest about the fact that he's got a team that is mildly hungover, that he's got to refocus into a quarter-final this weekend.
I know. I said, before we went on air, I said to him, it'd be a pretty relaxed reviews today, wouldn't it? And he goes, oh, you reckon? We got half the guys are still hungover from Sunday, and we've got a quarter-final coming up this weekend. I was like, oh, yeah, true.
It's 5 days away, though. Oh, no. What day is it today? Tuesday. Oh, yeah, it's only 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. And as we said, massive slate of games this weekend. I'm actually quite looking forward to that. We are selling the Ute. If you haven't heard already, Auto Trader want you to tell New Zealand about your car. They've asked us to help them, and so we are taking the lead. We're selling our Ute. It is a 1998 Ford Falcon Ute.
Yep.
It is a straight six engine, which is humming at the moment.
Oh, it's so when you put your foot down, just the rumble that comes out, it's heartwarming.
It's a head turner. It's a big bit of equipment. Bench seat across the front, which we've just had redone.
Yep.
She's a different colour. There'll be a video out to explain all of the things that we've done to soup it up. One thing I would mention, and I think it's important to be transparent when you're selling your car, the tray does smell like salt and vinegar.
Which is better than dog shit or cat piss.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's not a bad smell.
No, and the tray is quite good. If you're a builder or you're in any sort of trade and you've got expensive equipment, it has a lockable tray.
Yes, that
so
slides
slides out and you can put stuff there. If you're looking to shift anything big, it's useless for that.
Yeah. Although there is across the top of the tray is a bit of plywood, so you can put something on top of that and strop it down.
That's true.
I'll tell you what it's perfect for is you back that thing up at the local rugby league grounds and watch the Pants Man play league, and you sit on the tray.
Oh, that's
perfect for
badass.
that. You fill the little slide out drawer with beers, and you just slide it out, grab yourself a beer, slide it back in. It is a really impressive piece of kit, and we are selling it all thanks to the great New Zealanders at Auto Trader. We all the proceeds are going to go to the great New Zealanders at Movember. So. Yeah. They're saying it's one of the great own goals of all time because I drive that thing to work most days.
Yes. Yeah, it is a little bit. But we're working on a replacement. Any vehicle sponsors out there who want us to, jump on board, let us know.
Here's an opportunity for you. But to make sure that it's got the best chance to sell, we've gotten it rewrapped in gloss black.
Yeah.
The seat's reupholstered, as I said. It is delightful. Great for the posture as well on the bench seat. And we made her shine with a proper clean. It looks like a completely different ute than the one that we initially bought for $1. Look out for our Ford Falcon this November on Auto Trader, and of course tell New Zealand about your car. Another thing we need to tell New Zealand about is the book is out.
Yes, the ACC 10-Year Sports Almanac book, the hardcover book is out today, available today. We went out and signed 300 copies yesterday.
My God.
out at Mighty Ape. You've got to touch on that, actually. Dan, the CEO of Mighty Ape, gave me a whooping on the table tennis table beforehand.
And then we had to sign 300 books, and that's when I became aware that I actually don't have a signature.
Yeah, well, I also was signing at G Lane, which is not my normal signature, and I occasionally got the yips and signed half my proper one, half, because my proper name is James Michael Lane.
Yes.
So my signature is James Lane, but you can't. So I put G Lane, but then halfway through I'd get the yips on the G and the L, and a couple of them are not tidy.
For anyone out there who has not written their signature 300 consecutive times, boy, do you get the yips. I was slicing them, hooking them. I chunked a couple of them.
Well, I made the stupid decision to do a gag at the start and drew a cock and balls on every signature.
Yeah.
And I had to commit to the gag, so I drew 300 cocks on
and
the
600 balls.
Yeah, and 600 balls. That's right. But you can get those signed copies if you go to Mighty Ape, search ACC Almanac or Alternative up, and the book will come up. And it's on a special, a launch special. It's $35.99, which is fucking cheap. Look, it's a big book.
Yeah,
it's a big hardcover book. And you'll probably get a signed copy because I've got 300 of them so the next 300 they sell on there. You'll get that, but you can get it from any good bookstores, Whitcoulls, Paper Plus, anywhere.
And about 5 of those pre-orders have Lane's actual signature on it. So if you wanted to forge it for anything,
totally is.
You've got a 5 in 300 chance of getting that. I was wondering if the ones that we signed would be half price because we've significantly devalued.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they're probably kind of white out ours and leave Jeremy Wells's in there.
Yeah,
that's probably the most valuable one.
I would say $35. I reckon 40 is about the sweet spot for a Christmas present.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to spend, you can't put a price on love, but if you had to, it'd be about $40.
This is a great gift for the hard to buy for, because any kind of dude over the age of kind of 30, 35, it's quite hard to think what to buy them because
they buy themselves anything they want.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, fuck, what do I get them, And usually you default into some sort of voucher, Rebel Sport voucher or some sort of...
Westfields.
Yeah, Westfields or something like that. But this is perfect. It's got all of our worst stories, our best stories, oral histories, heaps of pictures.
I'll tell you what, you pair that up with a 12-pack of Export Ultra, wrap that up, that's Christmas sorted.
Oh, absolutely.
Because either the man in your life or woman knows and likes the Alternative Commentary Collective, or they know and hate the Alternative Commentary Collective, at which point it's a gag gift.
Yeah, totally. I know you love these guys. Oh, for fuck's sake.
So, yeah, that's
out on sale right now. Go and
get it.
Yeah.
Turn this podcast off and go and get it. And then come back and listen to Yours Please.
Yours Please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Couple to get through today. First caller here, Yours Please.
I just wanted to say it hasn't gone unnoticed that Lane has managed to shirk all of his school holidays responsibilities. Gets back from Europe and suddenly goes, oh, you know what, actually, I need to help out on the morning show. I need to go and fill in for them. I'm just going to be gone for the next couple of days in the morning, so you can drop the kids off to wherever they're going. I bet he gets home and the house is empty. He gets it to himself. Did this well. Well played, mate.
Yeah, it's definitely gone noticed, I'll tell you that. I just, we peek behind the curtains. It's definitely gone noticed.
Has been noted.
It has been noted, okay? So I have not got away with this. This is not like some sort of perfect crime.
Yeah. Because obviously the drop-off, you're doing breakfast at the moment with Jerry on Hauraki. The drop-off, that is out of the question.
There's no drop-off.
But there's a pickup. There's a pickup every afternoon.
Oh, yeah. No.
Which is more punishing, the morning drop-off or the afternoon pickup?
I prefer the pickup, actually.
Yeah?
Because the drop-off involves, you got to make all the lunches.
Yeah.
So it's 3 lunches you got to make.
Get them dressed.
Breakfast, dress, teeth.
Have they got their PE gear?
PE, you got your
Dogs.
books. Well, yeah, all that shit. And then summer comes, you got your fucking sunscreen on.
Get your hat.
Fuck, all that shit. So
Yeah.
and with the pickup, it's like, yo, woo, get in the fucking car.
We're going home.
We're going home. Here's a fucking cookie. Here's a fucking, woo, let's go to the fucking do it. Yeah. Let's have dinner. Yeah. But yeah.
At least with the drop-off, there's a finish line. You know, like
this is true.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Whereas the pickup can often start, you know.
Yeah, I can do both, but
Yeah.
I do prefer the pickup. I
Yeah.
do prefer the pickup. And look, this may shock you to the core,
Yes.
but I make the lunches every morning.
No, I know you have told me this.
It's my Olympic sport.
It was your ringing endorsement for pseudoephedrine when you were sick. You were like, I made all of the kids' lunches. You made scones, muffins, cookies.
Fuck, I was high as a kite. I was so hyper. God bless bringing back pseudoephedrine. God bless, what's his face?
David Seymour. Yeah.
Fucking hell, that hit me like a ton of, fuck, that hit me at 100 miles an hour, that pseudo.
Oh, mate, it saved my ass when we were in the overseas when I got the bender flu after Oktoberfest.
Oh, you got the Oktoberfest packs, remember?
Yes.
The pharmacy was selling Beer Fest packs.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that had pseudoephedrine in it. But yeah, that saved me. So yeah, no, it hasn't gone unnoticed at all. It has gone very noticed.
Yeah.
One more caller here. Yours, please.
G'day. G'day. If you fellas know that South Canterbury's facing the Knack-Knack, why don't you start fundraising now? The Knack-Knack's got a good port. South Canterbury's must be close to the water somewhere.
It is.
Can't you get a boat? Don't sink it like the Navy did. Cheers. Love you.
That's not a bad idea. Get a ferry leaving from
Caroline
Bay up to the port of Taranaki.
Yep, a great wee port down there in South Canterbury, bottom of the port loop. Known dogging spot as well down there. So, you know, something for everyone down there. The problem you'd have to do is that Taranaki's on the west coast, South Canterbury's on the east coast, so you're going to have to cross the strait in some sort of rickety old ferry.
It's a dodgy stretch of water too.
Yeah.
Fucking rough. I mean, it's a nice idea, but I think probably the flight from Christchurch to, there's Christchurch.
Timaru to Wellington you can do.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, you have to if you want to go to Timaru.
But if they bust to Christchurch, they could just do Christchurch to Taranaki.
Taranaki,
Plymouth direct.
I think so, yeah.
But I think that's worth a trip. I love Taranaki. I could go down there for a weekend, and we could probably commentate that game, actually.
The only problem is, this is an early crow. This, if ever there's a jinx that I've heard of, it is starting to plan the trip.
Oh, yeah, they haven't won it yet.
They haven't won it yet.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And they went close against West Coast. I think it was 43-38 on the weekend. So you don't want to get too ahead of yourself. But we did, like Barnsey said, if we fill their fridge, they'll come and meet South Canterbury and Wellington.
What's halfway? Wellington.
I think Wellington only because the straight crossing is the...
Yeah.
And although... Is it a shield challenge if Taranaki aren't in Taranaki?
Well, they can decide. You can take the shield on tour. It's their call.
I think Wellington, Cake Tin, bugger it.
Yeah.
Fill that thing out.
Easily fill his fridge.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the thing. We've been saying, like, we can't do much. What we can do is provide beer.
A lot of beer.
And so if we fill Neil Barnes' fridge, he'll meet South Canterbury and Wellington. We'll have the Shield Challenge there. And then, for the first time in a long time, the Shield will be in the Heartland Championship for at least a year, which would be wild. All right, that'll do it for today. We'll knock this thing on the head. We'll be back tomorrow for a Wednesday edition of the Agenda Podcast. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.